right, well, welcome everybody. We are going to go ahead and do our home buyer seminar. And we had some technology difficulties. So, that's just the way that this thing works, right? So, for those of you who do not know us, we are Real Estate One Group. And Demaya is going to be introducing herself here in just like two shakes. She is the one that has spearheaded this and has created the master plan. And previously, we had somebody come on that was attempting to do some stuff. So I can't give you the entire screen, but we're going to work with what we have because we don't have tech support. So I'm Shelly. I'm the team lead. I have been in the industry, since 2003. So I'll let you guys do the math. And I asked Tony Robinson to become my business partner, and he and I approached both Casey and Demai and said, you guys want to go and join the team. And so we sell real estate full time, and I'm just excited that we're here to talk about the home buying process. So I'm going to go ahead and have Demaya introduce herself. Then we'll go to Tony and Casey, and then Demaya is going to take over from here. So Demaya.
Hi, my name's Demaya Valdivia. Like Shelly said, I recently joined Real Estate One Group. I've been in the real estate business for almost a year. So it is definitely a process, but it's been a fun ride so far. And yeah, that's me.
All
Tony?
right, Tony, go ahead, introduce
Hey,
yourself.
I'm Tony Robinson. I pretty much head off the Iowa chapter of our group with Real Estate One Group. I have a background of investments, been doing it for about 10 years. Me and my wife, I stepped into real estate full time just a short while ago. And yeah, it is a full-time job. I love it. I love what I do. Um, and I'm excited to see our growth here this year.
Yeah, we're excited as well. Casey.
Hey there, everyone. My name's Casey. So I'm the newest member of the group. I've only been doing this for about coming up on 6 months. I'm an Air Force veteran, so I'm real active down here at Offutt Air Force Base, which is the Nebraska's hub for everything that is military, it seems. So if anybody has any questions about VA or anything specific to that, just let me know.
Awesome. And we do have one guest on. We're going to record this so then we could go ahead and share it. We know that we're right before the Super Bowl, so we were not sure how many people are going to be here, but the attempt here is just to get information out there as quickly as we possibly can to educate anyone that is going to begin their journey with the home buying process. And we don't care if you're first time home buyer or if you have bought 10 properties. The goal here is to educate and give you the tools that are necessary as you guys navigate this very interesting market. So with that, Demaya, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Can you go to the next slide for me?
You betcha. Is that the next one?
Yeah, that's the next one. It's
Okay.
not loading all the info.
Okay. Well, what would you like to do? Do you want to try to share your screen?
Try to go back to the main slide and then click back down and see if maybe that will get it to load everything.
Yeah. Try it one more time.
I can definitely try to share my screen if it's not loading.
Yeah, for anyone that knows anybody about these guys that come in on these things, they kind of can mess with your systems, and I think that's what's happened here.
Okay. Do you want to, I'm requesting to
Let me stop share for just a second.
share my screen.
All right, there you go.
Okay, perfect. See, share. Okay, can we see the
Yep.
screen?
Mhm.
Okay, cool. I'm just gonna keep it like this so we so we
Take
see
your time.
everything. All right, so starting the home buying process, there are a lot of things that go into buying a home. The first thing that you should be doing is getting pre-approved. So that is something you will do with your preferred lender. Go to them and they will tell you how much buying power you have, which is super critical. So then you know what's in your budget, what's in your range, and can stick to that when you start searching for homes. So that kind of leads into the next part, which is finding a home. If you're working with a realtor, they will help you set up a search. If you're looking for land, if you're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, if you're looking for a condo, whatever it is that is in your criteria, they can help navigate searches so you kind of know what's going on in the market and can see new listings as they're popping up. And then the next step is making an offer. So once you find the home that is the one for you, your agent will help you put in an offer for that home to make sure everything that you're wanting is in that offer and you're getting all of your wants and all the bells and whistles that fits your what you're looking for. And then the last part is closing the deal. So in between you making an offer and let's say it just gets accepted and before you actually close on the home, that whole process you're going to be pending on that house. So there is some time, sometimes it's quick, sometimes it's not, before you actually close on the house. But closing is the final step in the home buying process. And this is just a short snippet of what the process actually looks like. And here's an example timeline of the process. So pre-approval could take 1 to 2 weeks, depending on, if you have all your documentations in line. If everything's looking good, typically you can get pre-approved pretty fast. It just all depends on where you're at in life and your situation financially. The home search process could take 4 to 8 weeks, depending on the market, depending on, if you're seeing things that you like, if you're waiting it out, you just really never know with the market what's going to happen. So that's just, again, a suggested timeline. And then offer negotiation can take 1 to 2 weeks. If you're having to go back and forth with the person who's selling the home, it could take a bit longer. Sometimes, you may put an offer, they accept right away, and you're good to go. So it just really depends. And then closing could take 30 to 60 days, depending again on just what's happening, all the things that are happening behind the scenes, making sure everything is good to go once you get to the closing table, because there are things that come up that could delay closing, which you don't want, but you just never know. And then in total, it could take about 2 to 6 months to actually, when you start the process to when you finish. Again, it could take longer, it could be shorter. It's just a big question mark because there are so many things that can go wrong or that can happen in the home buying process. And now I'm going to give it over to Shelly.
All right. And Demaya is right. There's over 200 things that can go wrong in the real estate transaction after you go pending, and we see it every day. And so your home buying process really begins with that pre-approval, and your loan is going to determine what type of house that you can buy. Okay. And Tony and I today, we're working with the buyer, pre-approved for FHA, but the home, it's conventional loan product, right? It's got some mold in there. It's got a broken window pane. The kitchen floor is tore up. There's peeling paint. There's trip hazards. There's all sorts of different things. So your loan is going to determine the type of house that you can go buy. And we really have no ability to fill in the blanks on that purchase contract until we see that pre-approval, because the pre-approval letter is going to tell us the loan type, the interest rate, when can you close, is it subject to anything? And we got to know what the interest rate is and the term to determine what is your mortgage payment. So when you work with us as a buyer, one of the things that we do before we ever take you out is we show you what are your closing costs. What is that estimated house payment going to look like? And does that meet your budget? Because you can get pre-approved all day long, right? But does it fit in your budget? Your banks are going to max you out about 33% of your income's going right back into your household. And that doesn't include utilities, flood insurance, HOA fees, and so forth. So we really want to make sure that we're holding your hand through the home buying process. I checked the interest rates today, and FHA was at 6.83%. That was for a 30-year. Conventional 30-year was 6.9. But if you went on a conventional loan, that means if you're putting down 3, 5, 10, 15, 20% down, that interest rate's at 6.7, I'm sorry, 6.21. And our beloved veterans, your interest rate today was 6.74. So what does that mean to you? Okay. So I decided to do a quick scenario. If you purchased a home at 300,000, putting 10% down, that means that that's a conventional loan. Just your principal and interest payment is going to be at $1,781.83. That doesn't include taxes and insurance, guys. So make sure that you understand that loan. Now, if you were to buy a point down, that means you're buying down a percentage of that interest rate, which would 1 point is $1,000 per um, thousands, right? 100, yeah. So if it's 300,000, it's going to be 3,000 for the point. That's 0.125% reduction on your interest rate. You're only saving for $44.95 per month on the payment. So don't always buy into the idea of, oh, I'll just pay down a point on my interest rate. I'll save a lot of money. Where you guys could really save a lot of money over the length of the loan is doing monthly payments. And by doing that in this scenario of 300,000 on a conventional loan at 10%, you are going to be saving $90,757 over the life of that loan. So make sure that you work with your lender and your realtor so then you can really understand that. The other thing that I do want to point out is there's many first-time home buyer loans, and I did create a document. So if anyone's watching this, reach out to any one of us. The last slide will have our contact information. Screenshot it, we'll get it to you. There's some really incredible first-time home buyer loans for little to no money down. One of the ones that I'd like to just point out is USDA loan is very similar to a VA loan. It's 100% financing, and you literally can get in for as little as $500 down. So if you're interested in learning more about that, reach out to your lender and also reach out to us. We'd be happy to discuss that. So Demaya, it's all yours.
All right. One more slide for you, Shelley.
Oh, okay, great. What are we talking about now?
Upfront cost.
Okay, upfront. Oh, yes, absolutely. So you're going to have to put down a down payment, right? FHA is 3.5%. Conventional could be anywhere from 3, 5, 10, or 20%. Okay, so if we just did a baseline of 100,000 for a mortgage, 20% is 20,000. So you better know your math. Okay. The other thing is that when you're looking at your typical upfront costs, it could be anywhere from 3 to 5% of that purchase price total of fees that you're going to be paying. And a lot of times people don't understand what all those fees are, but it basically boils down to your taxes and insurance, right? So you have to pay for you're going to be paying for your insurance binder, and you can work that out with your insurance company. You could say, can I just pay like 2 months in advance and then throw the rest into my mortgage payment? A lot of you didn't know that. You can also ask the seller to pay for some of your closing costs. Well, what are they? It's going to be your insurance. It's going to be taxes. It's going to be title work. It's going to be your loan fees. So did you know that your lender has to get paid? And some of them will do flat fees like $1,300 or $495. So when you're talking to your lender, have them give you their cost worksheet and see, are they willing to cut the corners to save you money? Lastly, over in Iowa, okay, the law's changed. It's going to become law here in Nebraska, but there was there was some things that came through the court that now is requiring our MLS and our brokerages to get the buyers to sign a buyer agency agreement. And in that, we do ask that you pay for our commission, which is 2.4% on average, and that is negotiable, okay? But negotiable fees of our commissions. And so before we go show the house, we will find out if the seller is planning on paying for that or if you have to pay for that. So there's many, many costs. And when you guys are working out your negotiations, sometimes we'll make things contingent on home inspections, radon, sewer inspections, roof inspections. You do have to pay for your appraisal up front. That could run you anywhere from $500 to $650. And then if you want to have a warranty, you do have to pay for that. And you can get that paid out of closing by the seller, or you can just bring the money to close. So I would say it's safe to say about 3.5 to 5% extra on top of what you're going to be purchasing are your closing costs. Anybody want to add to that? Did I miss out on anything?
Oh, Tony, you're muted.
Tony, you're muted.
I said, you know, you're pretty thorough there.
Okay, all right.
All right. Pass it over to Tony.
All right. First and foremost, I wanted to, you know, tell everybody thank you for coming today. You could have been anywhere on your Saturday, but you decided to be with us. So, with that, I'll dive into a couple stats. The percent of list price received right now is 99.1%. What does that mean? That out of the inventory that is listed at list price, 99% of those homes are going for list price. Days on market right now is 24 days. With a condo or a townhouse, I think it's like 27 days right now. Now, not to be confused with, you know, closing a home, that's 24 to 27 days under contract, and then you need to go through the whole entire rest of the process as far as contingency and closing and things like that. You know, that's pending that the home is at top of market condition. Inventory of home sales right now. I thought this was an interesting stat. I'm going to take you through the last 5 years. In 2020, this is the end of year inventory, and you can kind of see why we're in the market that we're in as far as a kind of a neutral type market. In 2020, end of year inventory was 1,670 for Great Plains MLS. In 2021, we went down 1,448, 2022, back up 2,338 in inventory, 2023, 2,706, and 2024, 3,054. So you can kind of see why sellers and buyers are kind of in a neutral zone right now, meaning buyers have more inventory right now to choose from. That means that the properties need to be at top of market condition. Buyers are wanting to walk into a home that is ready to rock and roll. Sellers are willing to negotiate more of a concession. We personally at Real Estate One Group have secured several contracts just in the past week or so that we were able to get our buyers $5,000 or $6,000 worth of seller concessions. Additionally, with the down payment assistance program, IFA or NIFA, depending whether you're or you know which state you're in, Nebraska or Iowa. So definitely something to think about. And then interest rates today, I think Shelly, you touched base on a couple of them, but just for my analytical people out there, 30-year fixed right now is 6.9, 20-year fixed 6.6, 19-year fixed is a 6.1, 10-year fixed 6.1, 5/1 ARM is 6.2, a 10/1 ARM is a 6.7. A 30-year fixed for our first-time home buyers is 6.83, like Shelly said, and a 30-year fixed VA for our veterans is 6.7, and 30-year fixed jumbo loan is 6.98.
Awesome.
And that's all I got.
Thanks, Tony.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to pass it to Casey.
All right, how's it going, everybody? So when it does finally come time and you've gotten all the math put together, you've figured out what your budget is, you've been approved for your loan, it's time to do the fun part, in my opinion, which is out looking at the houses, getting into homes, going to opens, and starting to explore what your next house is going to look like. So in my opinion, the first step of that is to figure out who the decision maker is in your family, in your life. Maybe it's just yourself, maybe you've got a spouse. Maybe you've got some parents that are very involved and want to make sure that you're in a good situation. So you want to have those tough conversations and figure out what's most important and who's going to be making those decisions. So for me, in my life, my beautiful wife is the one that normally gets to pick what we're looking for. I've got a few stipulations that I must have. But for the most part, whatever my wife wants or whatever she needs is probably what we're going to go with. Those conversations are going to include the wants versus the needs, the area that you might be looking for, the amenities you might be looking for. What does the house include? The main stipulations are bedrooms and baths. Do you want some sort of a getaway space? Do you want some sort of a flex room? For us, something that was big when we were buying our current home is we were looking for a dedicated space for our kids. We do have three little kids, so we wanted to have a space where we could uh, kind of stick them to be able to just make a mess and destroy everything that they have without us having to be worried about them getting into something that they can't. So when you do start looking at those different locations, you want to keep in mind how far away is it might be from your work, how far is it away from the grocery store, how far away is it from the things that you like to be involved with. Those are all personal choices, personal conversations to be had between you and whoever those decision makers are. And then the next piece is going to be deciding what is negotiable and what can be left away. What are the things that we would rather have, but if it comes down to it, if we find a really nice house that we would love to be in, what could we give up? This could be maybe it's an extra large master primary suite that might maybe it only has a standing shower instead of a full jacuzzi bathtub. These are the kind of things that you guys are going to want to look for and already have decided as you guys are looking through. Um, at the end of the day, everything when it comes to finding the right home is a personal choice. It is up to you, those decision makers, your families, to decide what do I want, what do I need, what can I live without, and what do I find to be the most important in where we're going to live for the next 5, 10, 15. Maybe it's even your forever home and you're planning on, coming out of that house in a bag. Those are the things that you got to look for and you guys got to be ready to identify and have those items ready to go. So that way, when you do meet with your realtor or come talk to us here at Real Estate One Group, you can say, hey, these are the things that I have to have. These are the things that I would like to have. And these are the things that we absolutely can't have. So that's one of the things that I haven't talked about yet, which is probably what deters most people are the items that they can absolutely not endure. I recently was showing a couple of house that backed up to a busy road. And that was something that was a non-negotiable. We got there, we walked out the back door and we immediately left. We didn't look at anything else in the house because they also had small children. So they didn't want to run the risk of one of them getting over the fence or getting out near that busy street. Some people might not want to live on a golf course because of the hazards that come along with golf. Living near the airport, living near a set of train tracks. These are personal choices that have to be identified and decided on. So that way we're not wasting anybody's time when we go to look at these houses and say, hey, we found this great house. Oh, but it has this item on there that you guys absolutely don't want to see. Here's all the information if you guys change your mind and you guys want to go see it. But without having those conversations together and then letting, your real estate agents know, those are why we have those conversations and why we look for those items. That's all that I had when it comes to finding the right house. Those are the things that I like to do whenever I'm speaking with any of my clients and what me and my wife have done in the past as we go to buy our houses.
All right, let's see one more slide for you.
Okay, so when you do start looking at those houses, though, so there are some items that you're going to want to look for, and there's some questions that you're going to want to ask. So when you're walking around, one of the things that I always like to point out is pay attention to the ceilings. Look in the corners of the ceilings. Look for water damage or cracks in the drywall, cracks in the foundation when you're down in the basement. Look for any puddling that you might see around a sink or any discoloration you might see around the sink. These are real quick indicators that there might be something else wrong. But you might be able to say, okay, well, this looks like it's something minor. Maybe we are willing to go in and put in an offer, but then we want to go through and have an extra inspection done, or we want to have an extra warranty put in place for whatever those items are. So those are further things to ask your real estate agent about when you're wanting to walk through. Hey, what did you see that might be negative about the house? What do I need to be prepared for? That kind of leads into the questions that are important to ask. Whenever I've done open houses and whenever I've been showing houses to clients, we will always look at the age of the house. Some buyers are really interested on who the builder is because they've had good experience with certain builders, or they've had bad experience with builders, or they want to know the age of the roof. These are the age of the appliances that might be staying, the age of the pools that just got put in the backyard. These are pieces that might be indicators of to how much maintenance is going to need to be done, what upcoming expenses you might have, how long you might have until an expense comes up, and these can ultimately impact whether or not a house is the right fit for you. Or it maybe it means that the roof is a little bit older, which you're okay with. You're okay with replacing it when that time comes, but maybe you want to have a little bit extra insurance in hand in case something were to happen, or a big storm rolls through, or maybe, heaven forbid, a tree falls down. Um, it's important to be open and honest with your real estate agent and explain the things that you're looking for, asking questions, and letting them know even where your pitfalls might be of the things where you get into a house and you're just falling in love and you can't look at any of the bad, and you need them to be your down to earth person that's going to be the devil's advocate and let you know, hey, you absolutely love this house, but make sure that we're paying attention. These are the things that you said that you were looking for, and it's, you said you had to have 5 bedrooms and this one only has 3. Maybe that's not going to be the right fit. So being open, honest, transparent, clear, and being willing to have those conversations is definitely important.
See?
Okay, so the next part is negotiating the offer. So after you have found the dream home that you want to go ahead and purchase, the first step, is making an offer. So kind of like Tony talked about right now, the market is kind of even, but in due time, the market may switch up and it may be more of a seller's market than a buyer's market. So then you have to be mindful of that, and understanding that, you may have to make a more competitive offer. You may be having to ask for less, or just kind of alter your deal based on what's happening currently and just how badly you want to put in an offer that's more appeasing to the seller. So just always be mindful of the market conditions and how that might influence your offer that you're putting in. And then also considering contingencies. So that could be financing and inspections. Again, just depending on what the circumstances, you may not want to ask for everything that's on your list just because you really want the home. So at some point, you may have to be a little bit more flexible, and just be mindful that there is a little give and take when you are going through the buying process, depending on what the market is doing. You also want to make sure that you're responsive. You should pick a realtor that you believe will be great in communicating with you and giving you updates and letting you know what's happening as you're going through the deal. But if not, don't be afraid to reach out to your realtor and ask them, hey, what's going on? Any updates? Can you give me some more information? You want to stay up to date in this deal. It's one of your biggest purchases you'll probably ever make in your life. And so there's a lot of emotion that comes with it. And just being up to date and aware of everything kind of puts a little bit of ease into that. Um, and then we kind of talked a bit before about your must-haves, and nice-to-haves. So again, consider that as well as you're going through, you're picking the home, making an offer. Just be mindful of what, you must have in your deal. This is like a non-negotiable. This has to be included versus like, oh, it would be nice to have it, but if we don't, like, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. So just a couple things to keep in mind as you are going through and negotiating, a deal. Okay, so say the deal went through, the sellers accepted your offer, and so you are on the way to closing. So prior to closing, a couple days before your actual closing date, you will do a walkthrough of the property with your realtor. So that is just to make sure if you ask for anything to be repaired, that those repairs were made. Anything that maybe you discussed with the seller that needed to be done before closing, that's your time to make sure that those things are done. So you want to be very thorough, take your time, make sure you're double checking things before you go to that closing table to make sure all is good. You also want to make sure your utilities are set up. So that could be electricity, your water, internet, gas, waste removal, all the things that you need when you move in, you want to be set up. You want to make sure you are going, reaching out to those utility places and getting those things set up in your name, getting things transferred over, and make sure you are also ending the services if you have any in your current or previous residence as well. And then at closing, you will be signing paperwork. So that will be contracts, that could be loan documents, other things as well. You're going to be doing a lot of signing, so make sure you're ready for that. You're also going to be paying closing costs and the down payment. So kind of like Shelly mentioned earlier, those things that you have to bring to closing. This is the time where you are going to either get a cashier's check or you're going to wire transfer that money over to whoever the title company is that's doing the closing for your
For your
geez.
property.
Thank
No.
you. Thank you. So yeah, make sure you are ready to have that money good to go for them. And then once you're done signing all your paperwork, all is good to go, you will receive your keys to your new home, which is the most exciting part, but that is the last thing on the list when you are closing a home. I don't know if any of you want to add anything to that slide.
Now, the only thing I wanted to circle back around is, we have our wants and our needs, and sometimes you're wanting something and it's not fit in the box either for financing or what. But years ago, I worked with this couple for 5 years, you guys, and they wanted a ranch, they wanted this, that. And finally, I couldn't find it, but I always knew that there was this one house that was a two-story, and I said, would you be a little bit flexible? Would you allow me to go look at it? And that house met every criteria except for it wasn't ranch. So trust your realtor when they say sometimes not everything fits in the box, and lean on their expertise, because I think we could have had that deal done a long time. Uh, Love those people. They've become really good friends of mine, but we probably could have gotten into home ownership a lot sooner. So be flexible.
All right, and the last slide. So after you have closed, you got your keys, everything's good to go, and say you're settling in, these are just a couple pointers to make sure you get done after the process, which is changing your address. So on all your important documentations, if you need to update like your driver's license, all that good stuff, make sure you get that done. And then home maintenance. So as you're going through the home buying process, and again, you're giving and taking a little bit, you also probably want to set up a budget for unexpected maintenance repairs. You just never know what could happen. A storm could come through, a leak could happen, a pipe could burst. There's just so many things that are unpredictable. So it's just always great to have a little something set aside in case those things do occur. And then maybe you want to set up regular inspections. Maybe you want to have, if you don't have an inspection before you close, have someone come through right when you move in, and just give you an update or touch point on just the status of the house, and upkeep. So if you, let's say, have maintenance, care, or just anything that you want to have included in the home, make sure you get all that set up so you're good to go on maintaining your home.
That's right.
And we're going to skip this part. I'll come back to that. But here is all of our information. So from left to right, it's how we are positioned in the photo. But again, we are Real Estate One Group, and just appreciate you joining us today. I'm going to open up the floor to see if anyone else from the team wants to say anything.
I just want to thank Demaya for taking the time to do this. We've had a home seller seminar. This is our home buyer seminar. Casey's going to be hitting up our VA seminar, and then Tony will be doing our investment seminar. So be sure to be looking out for those. We really believe that home ownership is, really important, especially if you want to see your money grow. Everybody knows how much money's in their bank accounts, savings accounts, 401ks, but real estate will get you there probably quicker and faster. So whether you're a first-time home buyer, you're a seller thinking about selling, or you're an investor, we'd like to have that chance to get in front of you and show you what we're capable of doing for you. And that is helping you reach your goals and saving you some time and money, right, guys?
Yes.
Anybody else have anything else that they want to say?
Yes, if you guys don't mind, I have a quick question.
Yes.
All right. I just have a few questions, and feel free, anybody can attack them. First of all, I just want to thank you all for the great information that I've received and everybody else will receive. But one of my questions I wanted to ask, what's the most challenging part of the home buying process for your clients, and how do you help them overcome it?
Oh, you want me to tackle that one? I can.
Go
Um,
ahead, Shelley.
so many times realtors think that the hardest thing is finding the house. That's the easy part. It's keeping the deal together, because the minute that earnest deposit goes in, that's when a lot of things are uncovered. So we'll see challenges. The buyer might be pre-approved, but then the buyer goes buys a new vehicle, bumps them out of, their credit score. Or the buyer will decide that they need a new refrigerator. So they're going to go down to Nebraska Furniture Mart and open up a line of credit, and it knocks them out of debt to income ratios. Title work's pulled. We find out that the realtor added the boyfriend onto the purchase agreement, but he was never on the pre-approval. And now we have cloud on title. Title company doesn't want to insure the property, and the lender says, nope, we're not going to do the lending because the buyer wants to be on there. I've seen deals fall apart from inspections, well inspections, radon inspections, and so forth. So, Cedric, we have created over 200 things that could go wrong in the real estate transaction. So the easy part is finding the house. The hard part is keeping it together, because we can tell our buyers the 10 things of thou shall not do in the home buying process. Like, don't go buy a new vehicle, don't open up a line of credit, don't pay off debt, and all of those lists, right? They're still going to go do it because they're excited. And so when we get to the closing table, we're super jazzed because everything worked out. Anybody want to add to that? Anybody?
Thank you.
Hopefully I answered that for you, Cedric.
You did, you did. Let me see. Well, I have one more question. This will be my final question for you guys. So what would you say are the top three takeaways for someone like me or anybody else who's just starting a home buying journey?
Anybody want to take that, tackle that? I
I'll
can.
be there.
You want me to?
Yeah, you go ahead and
Go
tackle
ahead and
it.
prioritize.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and
The top
prioritize.
three, Cedric, is if you're thinking about wanting to buy a house, you better know how much it's going to cost you to buy that house. You better know that you've got money in your bank and it's seasoned. There's a lot of times people have a lot of money and they've got the money sitting in the wrong places, like the cookie jar, underneath the bed, in the shoe in the closet. You got to get that money seasoned. Okay. Um, you got to understand that there's upfront expenses, right? You got earnest deposit. You got to pay the appraisal in advance of having the appraiser go out there. And you got to have a smart agent. So when they snuffing out that the deal's starting to fall apart, like what Tony and I started to see this last week, we stopped everything from termite and appraisal, because if those things are ordered, somebody's paying for them. Okay. And we don't want you, the buyer, to have to pay for them. Okay. So if I were to sit down with you, I'd say, Cedric, where's your money coming from? Do you have that money? Is it coming from your tax return? Are you getting a gift from a relative? If you're getting a gift from a relative, I had a deal blow up last year. Grandma, she came and talked to me. She goes, oh, I love my grandson. I'm going to give him this money. And it was time for her to write the letter that she was going to give the gift money. She had the money. She proved that she had the money, and she refused to give the money. Okay. So we got to make sure that we know all of the variables in your home buying scenario, right? Where's the money coming from? Is it seasoned? Are you pre-approved? What's your interest rate? And just because your pre-approval says one interest rate doesn't mean that that's what you're locked in. You get locked in, Cedric, after
Mhm.
offer is accepted. And so there is a clause in our purchase agreement that says that if you got your pre-approval says, say, 6.5, and today the rates went up to 7.25, you have a chance to get out of that purchase contract. Okay.
Okay.
Can you tell I get excited about this?
This is what you're meant to do. This is a purpose right here. So I love the answers. So no, you guys have really helped me. So a lot of key valuable information and points that I've taken away from this seminar. So I appreciate all of you.
Yeah, thank you. And one other point, it doesn't matter where you're at in the United States, okay? Whether you're buying in Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, Florida, we don't care. Give us a call. We can get you connected with an agent. If we don't hold a license in that state, we will get you connected, okay? If you're a veteran, we'll get you in front of the appropriate people to get your VA benefits. If you are a first-time home buyer, you have literally no money. There are products out there where you can actually get a secondary note and mortgage your down payment. So Let us be that expert and voice of reason. We'll be your Jimmy the Cricket. We'll guide you. We'll tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. So with that, I am done. Do you guys have anything else that you want to add to this before we head on out?
No, I would just say reach out to us if you have any questions. Take a picture, take a screenshot of this screen so you have it to reference in case something does come up later on. But yeah, that's all I have to say.
But Demaya, thanks for putting this on. Thanks to Real Estate One Group for your input. Cedric, thanks for joining us. And anyone that watches this later, know that we are the experts. We are ready and willing and capable of helping you with your home buying journey. Thanks, guys. Appreciate ya.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.